Now be a good girl, drive on.
Oh, God. I actually gagged slightly when you said good girl then.
Now then, make sure you hold your steering wheel at 10 to 2.
Oh. Why? So is it comfortable steering like that? It doesn't look very comfortable.
Not really.
No. So why are you holding your hands there?
Because I was told it's 10 to 2. That's the way you got to hold a steering wheel.
And quite often people think that that's the case, but actually, well, A, you can hold the steering wheel however you want as long as you're comfortable and in control.
Is that what the highway codes are? That's what they're looking for? Keep control of the car?
Absolutely.
Great.
Yeah.
I was driving down the dual carriageway. I wanted to hold it there. It felt more stable.
Yeah.
But my dad said hold it there because you'll fail your driving test.
Absolutely not.
You're dry steering. No, get the car moving because you'll damage the car.
How?
It's a bit tight. I'm gonna have to steer. So I can dry steer.
That's right.
Great. Okay. But I've got to really steer correctly to get around this car, haven't I?
And I tell you what would be a bit easier for
hell.
you. Yeah. Why don't you just do it?
My dad said if I cross my hands, I'll fail my driving test.
Okay.
And you must use push-pull steering.
Crossing your hands would have been quicker and more effective in that situation, and I don't really think there's anything unsafe about crossing your hands slightly at the top, especially when you're doing manoeuvres.
But it's quicker.
It's a lot quicker.
Yeah. Well, my dad said
Okay.
if the airbag goes off...
Well, the airbag's not going to deploy when you're that slow.
Does it not?
No.
It makes sense because I can move the wheel quicker.
Absolutely. You're more control.
And make sure every time you stop, you put on your handbrake and put the gear into neutral.
Why? Oh. Okay, so we didn't really need to completely stop then and put our handbrake on, so why did we put our handbrake on?
Because my dad said that you have to stop and put the handbrake on every time you stop.
Oh, right. Okay. Was there any reasoning behind that?
He just said that you have to do if you didn't. The reason why, if I didn't do it, I'd fail my driving test.
Ah, okay, another one. There's no reason to put your handbrake on every time you stop unless you're going to be stopping for a reasonable period of time, because you want to remain, you're about to move off straight away again, so you just remain ready. If you're waiting in a queue of traffic and you can give yourself a rest, then absolutely come into neutral and pop the handbrake on. But if you're driving around the city here where we keep moving and there's lots of junctions where we don't actually need to stop, you can just keep the car moving if you've made effective observations.
Can you see in the mirror?
Yes.
Why aren't you moving your head? Position it. There you go. You have to move your head now. Because the examiner needs to see you really. Go on, have a look.
Gosh.
There you go. That's better.
So why haven't you got your mirror positioned correctly? You should be able to just see from an eye movement.
Because my dad said the examiner has to see me moving my head. We might miss it if I just look like that.
Oh, okay. Well, when we next stop, I'll tell you what, we'll readjust so that you can see just from your driving position.
Okay, at the roundabout, turn left. Now remember, come down the gears one at a time. 5. What's the 5th gear? It's 1984. 4. 3. 2.
Oh, this is really distracting.
And when we stop, there we are, and stop into first gear. Put on the handbrake. We've stopped. And neutral, come on.
So at the roundabout, I'd like you to follow the road ahead. Second exit, please. Okay, so why was we changing gears already so far away from the roundabout?
Because my dad said you have to come down one gear at a time for engine braking.
Oh, right, okay. So when we're approaching a hazard and you're having to slow down, it's often best practice to just use the brakes to slow you down, and once you've assessed the situation, then brakes to slow, gear to go.
Stop laughing.
Was that
Stop laughing. It's a very serious matter we're doing here.
Okay.
We're learning to drive. You could run a child over.
No.
I've been driving for 30 years. I've been instructing for 20 years. Men are much better drivers than women.
So, misconception number 1 then is 10 and 2. Now, this is a big one that we get a lot of comments about.
Holding it there.
Every single video where someone is holding the wheel slightly lower, what happens 10 and 2?
Since that, what happened? It never, ever existed. It's never been written in the highway code how to hold a steering wheel.
No.
I think it comes back to, in the old days, you didn't have power steering, and as a consequence of that, it took about
a bigger wheel.
Bigger wheel, because we need more effort, and to get it round you, and 10 to 2 means you could really get some leverage, and the steering wheel had to turn like 3 times, or at least not 1.5 like it is these days.
Yeah.
To turn it, so to get a car turning, you have to really get some leverage on it. So that's how it was taught. It was never a rule.
Yeah.
But just the fact in those days you'd really struggle to steer if you didn't hold it in that position. And with the invention of the airbag, that wasn't around then. Well,
that's another thing.
Yeah. If my hand's up here and that goes off, my hand's going up to my head, aren't they?
Yeah.
You think about it,
But
pushing
how quickly
you going
is an
forward.
airbag deployed?
Milliseconds.
Yeah.
Milliseconds. It goes about 200 miles an hour.
Straight
in
in
a
face.
few milliseconds. Straight in your face. Your hands up. You want it down here. You want that airbag to come through your arms.
That's right.
And that's so much more comfortable. I mean, do you walk around holding your hands in the air when you walk?
Another thing, where do the Formula 1 racers hold it for full control?
Oh, no, it's there.
There, yeah.
Yeah, just turn it and...
Yeah.
As I was told off by Alfie, the racing driver.
Oh, really?
When I did my videos, he says, what are you doing? Hold like a bloody racing driver, you idiot.
So, misconception number 2 was dry steering.
Yes.
We get a lot of this.
Yes, and again, it comes down to it was never possible to dry steer a car unless you were like Arnold Schwarzenegger or bodybuilder.
Yeah.
I remember so you give it a movement, you can move the wheel. And again, it was never a rule in the highway codes all about can you control the car. That has never changed. And people think it's a rule just because their driving instructors told them so. That therefore it must be a rule. If a person in authority, an instructor, is instructing me to do it, it must be right.
And we've even double checked this with several mechanics as well that say there's absolutely no damage done. You would have to sit there all day. Misconception number 3 was crossing your hands.
Yep. Again, comes back to, are you in control of the car?
Which arguably, in some situations, such as what we were discussing with the manoeuvres, you're going to be in more control if you're having that slight crossover as well. At slow speed,
it's more appropriate. It's more control.
Yeah.
It doesn't say anything about the airbag, but you do want to keep this area clear. So if anything was to happen, if it was crossing over, I don't want to punch myself in the face.
That's right.
And if you've got your timing and your technique correct, steering is really, really slow. So if I'm steering to the apex and stop steering, like coming around here, I'm going to steer to the sharpest bit. I've only got to steer to there. Look, I'm doing nothing now.
Yeah.
And then... So anyone that's turning around, crossing, generally it's about they're oversteering.
Yeah.
So really the technique's wrong. You don't need to cross your hands when you get the car moving. And with the airbag, so it's not a rule, it's just common sense. You're still in control of the car doing it that way. But from a safety point of view, if that airbag goes off, you want to be a technique you've learned so it's going to help you, not hurt you.
You don't even need a seatbelt when you're reversing that, do you?
No. Again, with that one, I think, comes back to the old days. They used to have inertia seats that used to be fixed.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I remember when I was young,
yeah.
and my parents' Austin 1300, it was a fixed belt. You would not be able to turn around, so you're allowed to take it off so you can see what's behind you.
I see, yeah. Whereas now there's no
point. It moves, doesn't it? So it's one of those silly things.
Okay, misconception number 4 was coming down the gears.
Yeah.
So sequential changing all the way down.
Yeah, I think it comes back to the brake situation again.
Yeah, so
having
to use engine braking.
Gearboxes are better, engines are better, brakes are better, engineering is just generally better. Now, a car stalls if you ask it to do something it hasn't got the power to do, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, for example, it's not around, if I just suddenly jump off the clutch at a low speed, well, of course it's going to stall because I've asked the car to move off quickly. So, if I'm slowing a car down, I'm taking power out of the car by turning the momentum of the car into heat via the brakes. So it's not going to stall until it's come right down to just over 1,000 revs. So if I'm not going to use fourth gear, Why go in
do
it?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm slowing it down.
Just making harder work for yourself.
Brakes are slow. Gears to go.
Now, the next one was the mirror adjustments.
Goodness sake.
Examiners want to see you moving your head.
Well, I don't do that. I'm turning my head to look square in the mirror, and I'm looking in there. Why? Because I'm looking down there, I can see what's down there. This is why I do not like this mirrors thing. Look, have I checked my mirror? There we go, check my mirrors.
Yeah.
What was in the mirrors? I don't know. I was just checking my mirror.
Just moving my
head around. Look at me. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What are we looking
Got to
for?
look into the mirrors, looking for effective observation.
But even just that, have you made effective observations for what you're about to do? Now, if you're slowing it down, then looking behind you, i.e. via the mirror, and outside there, was needed to go around that car. In that situation, that was needed to make effective observations. If I'm going around a roundabout, I'm going to signal left. Is that mirror check behind me more effective, or is it more effective to look into the junction you're about to go past, making sure no one's about to pull out in front of you?
And that's why you need to be an intelligent driver, taking every situation as it comes.
And it comes, what do we always say to our pupils? Principles for the wise, rules are for fools. Go and quiz it on me.
Next misconception was putting the handbrake on every time you stop. And equally, coming to stop at giveaway junctions.
So why have you got a stop junction? Why have you got a giveaway junction? If you stop at every giveaway, why do you have a separate stop junction?
Yes.
You slow until you can go and make effective observations before you're 100% happy before you commit yourself to the new road. So
why was it a handbrake every time you stopped?
I have no idea. Well, I don't know. Were brakes rubbish in the old days again? Is it coming back to?
Well, the argument that people always make with us is that the handbrake, if you got hit, the handbrake's more effective.
It's not though. It's the weakest brake in the world. You can drive off with your handbrake on.
Exactly. When you hold, and someone as well, when I argued that case, they said, yeah, but if you get bumped, your foot's going to come off the foot brake. Like hell it is.
Yeah.
I'll hit the foot brake harder if I get hit.
One proviso, which comes back to rule 114, which kind of makes sense, is it does say don't dazzle people unnecessarily, including traffic. It is daytime, so what? All these rules is basically what's called the Mandela effect.
No one's actually thinking for themselves.
So, all these things like, it's the law used to be 10 to 2. Since when? Since when was it okay to hold your steering wheel not 10 to 2? Since ever.
Since ever.
It's never been in a highway code.
Thank you very much for watching.
Now, we love your comments, so if you've got any comments, leave them below.